And welcome to yet another episode of the Chatterbox with myself, Nyaka Lolepoto, and there's Machine, Mr. Leluka, sir.
The aeroplane, your best friend in all spheres of life. That's a very good.
That's you on stage. That's you on stage, my man.
You know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, how you doing, Yaks? Man, are you well?
Yourself, bro. I'm well.
Nah, I'm in the greatest of shapes, Nyaks. It's a scorcher of a day in Johannesburg once again. Hey, I don't know when this is gonna come to an end now. It's becoming a bit unbearable, but it's okay. It's okay, so we're good.
It's crazy, man. I don't have a problem with the heat. I have a problem with mosquitoes.
Yeah, dude, uncontrollable. Hey, uncontrollable. I mean, I remember watching one clip and I laughed so much. They were asking I think a Zimbabwean guy, Raymond, what do you call mosquitoes in your language? This guy says, nah, dude, we don't call them. They just come and bite.
They come.
So it's they just come and
they
bite.
invite themselves.
So that's what's happening yeah. so that's what's happening in Johannesburg right now. They're just biting us left, right, and center, bro.
Great stuff, man. Today I want us to talk about Mavuso, man. Tell us, what is Mavuso?
Mavuso, Nyaks, okay, the name Mavuso, obviously it's our, township slang as South Africans, because, we've got a name for everything, but it's a name that was coined for a practice that is well known for, where a guy would give money to a lady after, spending a night with her, that after the morning after the night before type of thing, where you are at a social gathering and it's beautiful, you're having fun, and you've got money, and you happen to score, a lady, as we would normally put it, and then you go home with a lady, and in the morning you wake up. Of course, I mean, Yaks, man. I mean, this practice has been happening over, I think, decades, if not centuries, where, I mean, a lady would have to be compensated somehow, with for whatever it is. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a nice thing, I'm not saying I'm condoning the practice, but all I'm saying is it's been happening, and then when it happens, I mean, I think at some point or another, Nyaks, I mean, you've been there, I've been there, I know, I mean, although at that time you were not thinking of it as Mavuso, but I mean, you probably working and you meet a lady, you have fun, you go home with her, and then in the morning you're like, okay, whether it's transport money or something, just to say, okay, when you go, this is, a token of appreciation for spending a night with me and stuff, But hey, Jax, so it's coined Mavuso, I think, because of a Stokvel gathering that was organized. I think it started around the 2018s or 17 in Pretoria, Hammanskraal, the Hammanskraal area. That's where it's they call it the capital city of Mavuso, because there's an organization, that came together. Guys came together and said, guys, let's have these Stokvels going, and then after the Stokvel, we take the proceeds, we share them amongst ourselves. But the funny thing is, when I really followed the story, I found that one of the organizers actually came out to say, look, it's not necessarily Mavuso because there are sexual activities involved. That is not the initial plan. The initial plan was just for us as guys to get together and make money, because I mean the economy is ailing, Yaks. So anything and a Stokvel is something that has been there, Yaks. I think you and I grew up with Stokvel celebration, parties happening in and around our township. So these guys came together, and I think there were a few ladies that started, seeing an opportunity to capitalize on that, and they started sort of, enticing the gentleman, and the gentleman ended up also loving that idea of making money. And when you've made a few, coins, you take a lady home, and then you end up having to, of course, compensate the lady for the night. So in a nutshell, that's how I would put Mavuso as.
It's in the Freedom Charter, man. The people shall share.
The people shall share, and people get compensated for what they do. Yeah. So who are you and I to judge people for the kind of economic activity, because it's an economic activity that people get involved in.
Its own. We have, as you could see, what I think COVID showed us that we as a people are
Yeah.
obsessed with parties, are obsessed with alcohol and everything like that. How did we get to that point of that much obsession with parties and with alcohol?
That's by naturally we are, as human beings, we are social beings. We thrive through socializing, getting together every now and then, whether it's to celebrate something or whether it's just to sit and break the monotony. Really, we love that. That's how we thrive. But then when COVID came, it actually made us realize. There's a saying. It's as much as cliched as it is. They say, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. So it is some sort of freedom where we say we are free to just gather. I mean, remember during the apartheid days, there were laws that would prohibit us from gathering, and as long as there's a certain number of people sitting in one setting, it would be considered, illegal, sort of. Now we are free. We can get together and drink and have fun and stuff. When COVID came and the restrictions were imposed, it actually made us realize how much we love socializing. And then we started realizing that, what, now that this is taken away from us, it's actually, you start realizing how much you miss interacting with people, having those few drinks. It's not really about maybe making money, or it's a party, but socializing with people. And obviously in socializing, there's alcohol involved, there's music, and there'll be events organized for us to do that. So we realized that we actually thrive through that. And when those limitations were imposed, we realized how much we were missing. I mean, personal interaction, yes, it's nice. People started communicating via, social media devices and all that. We couldn't really meet and gather in large numbers. But then, obviously, as human beings, we came up with plans. And there was a lot of illegal alcohol that was being sold, cigarettes, and there were also illegal gatherings that were made. Some people made, beans to make sure that they would still meet their friends and family somehow and have and I think a lot of us were guilty of that, Nyaks. At some point, I think you found a way.
Secret location, my man.
Secret location and all that, but the sad thing about it, Nyaks, is that now alcohol became the most important thing at the moment. It became a very important commodity. That is when we realized that as a nation, and I think you and I have talked about this before, we did on another platform, where I said, as much as we love entertaining ourselves and all that, but my worry mostly is the alcohol consumption, the level at which we even abuse alcohol. It's no longer just engaging or just sometimes casually just having a beer or two. It's actually scary to me, Nyaks, that every single weekend we look for an opportunity to get together, and it's binge drinking. And we've even embellished it further. There are parties where we say we are ballers, and we boast and brag with alcohol, the amount of alcohol we consume, how much how expensive the alcohol that we consume is. You go to places, Bokonga and stuff, it's a status thing where if Nyaks and Eri are seen there having drinks with a couple of ladies, Nyaks and Eri are in the in thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's becoming a problem, because having alcohol, there's nothing wrong with having alcohol. Nyaks. If I pay you a visit and we have 2, 3, or 4 beers, and then I go home, I mean, if that's what entertains us, it's okay. But now the way it is being done, I mean, we have bigger problems in the country that I think if we could direct that energy to, where we say we always meet and just to drink and consume alcohol, the amount of money also that we spend on that alcohol, yes, it's business for someone, but also if we could, put it somewhere else for other things, we would see our economy. We talked about it in our last episode, to say we would see a lot of things, businesses coming up, factories. We talked about coming up with property ideas, stock fails, where we say at least if Nyaks can spend 800 rand on one bottle, Imagine if Nyaks could take at least 400 rands and say, let me spend a little bit less and then invest this money, maybe half of that on some stokvel where we are saving for something in the future. Can we not achieve something as Black people? So that is where my problem is. I don't have a problem with people hurrying, spending their hard-earned money the way they want, but the way we're doing it, it's getting out of hand because it's like that's the only thing we look forward to. You know, there's an article that I read, Nyaks, where there's this proposal that there should be a 4-day working week. And I think some countries have already started trying that out to see if we could work for 4 days a week as opposed to 5 that we are doing now. How would that affect, you know, the job market? Would people or the economy not suffer? And some countries are succeeding at that because of their mindset. The mindset is,
but they don't have
I'll
as
use
much
that
of a
extra
drinking
day.
problem as we do.
As
I
we
don't
do.
I think productivity would still be the same, but now we will have a 3-day weekend. It will not work. Let's explore now.
That's the thing.
Let's explore now the impact of alcohol on morality.
That is the thing, Nyaks. That is the thing, because at the moment when you see people working, even at work, I mean, you are at work, you are sitting, it's a Monday or it's a Tuesday, people are tired on a Monday from, you know, binge drinking on Sundays. Even Sundays are, you know, for a lot of us, and I'll say particularly Black, let's not be scared to call a spade, particularly Blacks. I mean, on a Sunday, we've got Sunday soul sessions going on that go on until the early mornings. And then in the morning, you and I go to work. You come to work, Nyaks, you are very tired. And as your employer, I'm expecting you to give me at least 90%, if you can't give me 100%. And then we end up only at 50% on a Monday. And then it means you have to make up for that sometime on a Tuesday.
And on a Monday, I still gotta go to Mokodu.
Mohodu, you know, Monday there's still Mohodu. You go, you knock off, you rush into Mohodu. So basically, there is no plan. It's like we're just living for this. You know, it's the weekend of drinking. Monday, yes, it's someone else's business, but the binge drinking is a problem for me to say. Then when do we get productive? So it means instead of getting productive for the duration of the week, we are productive for at least half of the week, if not, because by Tuesday, you go back to Tuesday, you're still not 100%. You're not able to give me the 100% that I'm expecting from you. So morality,
it wouldn't work in South Africa.
Comes in
it really wouldn't work. There are a lot of unwritten rules. Now let's get back to Mavuso and stuff like that. With regard to drinking and then the drill of going home with someone else. You know, can you just break it out, this whole Mavuso drill with the, you know, how it goes, how it goes down, you know, the game, the 411 of Mavuso.
Yeah.
The 411 of,
you know,
winner.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm talking like this, and I'm not excluding you and I, Nyaks, because I mean we're part of a greater, you know, and I think at some point in our lives we've been, you know, there as well. You know, where you wake up and it's a Saturday, Nyaks, we get dressed and we look great, and then we've got money to spend, and then we go out, and obviously when we get to this event or this you know what you call a place of entertainment. There are ladies there who are there, and often, Nyaks, you find that, you know, it's not as easy for gents to just wake up and go to a bar, a restaurant somewhere without money, where you get there and you really get entertained because you need money. But it's easier for ladies to go out there because generally it's a well-known thing that, you know, as guys, we are predators, and then there should be prey. And ladies are there, and some of them, you know, waiting and ready to entertain any guy who says, hey, look, I'll buy you a few drinks for company. And then who knows, probably later on, if you and I can live together and go and entertain one another at home. And obviously then there comes the transaction, you know, the transaction where now Nyaks has to compensate the lady. It might not be a discussion prior to you leaving. It might be just a matter of I scored a lady because I'm Nyats and look, I'm looking good. And the lady can see that, well, my wallet is great. I mean, which lady will not be happy to hear a guy say, here's my wallet, let's spend what's in there. There are ladies who are readily available. And I'm not saying because they love it, Nyats, but sometimes because of the economic situation. Some are unemployed, they're trying hard, they're hungry now, and they see that as an opportunity to score a buck or few because they know there are guys that are just willing to spend money on a good time with a lady in one weekend, and a guy can simply just pay an amount of what 300 rands. I don't know how much it is. I don't know if there's a fixed amount that you pay, but
Different from
generally,
place to place. I suppose people put value on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, depend.
So
Mavuso
the
Akonga won't be the same as Mavuso Ahaban's crowd.
exactly. So basically, we just know it. Like you get to a place, yeah. Sometimes you don't even have to approach a lady. A lady will just come, greeting, hi, how are you, and all that, and you're like, oh, okay, and you start sitting together, and the way they approach, you can see. Some of them are very expressive. They can express it, whether through actions and stuff. And there are those ladies, Nyaks, that are very loquacious. They will just come to you and they will start talking. As a result, you'll see basically that, okay, so this is what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to, I think, win this one. And then you start acting on it and you start buying drinks, you spend, you impress, you do everything that you have to do to make sure the
would you
ladies are.
say that all men and all women know this because it's happened, right? You're chilling, the machita, and then there's these ladies, and then it's packed. Sometimes it's just packed. And you're like, no, you guys can come nearby, and then saklangani is like the table, and then we're drinking, and then all of a sudden the ladies are not buying anymore. So we're not buying. Nobody said anything. Do the ladies now understand that now you gotta go home with me? You know what's gonna happen when we get there? And does the guy now understand that, okay, now that I'm going home with you, in the morning, you will have to give me something to go home with?
Yes, it's there. It's a well-known thing. As much as we can try and avoid it and not say anything, but it is there. Like I said, if you meet a lady, let's say it's a Sunday night. You're at a very nice place and you're having fun. You've got work tomorrow morning, and here's this lady. She's also there. I mean, you're there until late in the evening, and you can see the lady is still around. She's hanging around and stuff. That might suggest to you that there might be something that this lady is looking for to try and score a buck so that she can, be able to go home with something, because there isn't really much happening in her life. So she's not really going anywhere tomorrow morning. Like you, Nyaks, would say, hey, I've got to leave because I've got work tomorrow. So that's how she's making her money. So it's a well-known thing. It's intentional. Someone leaves home knowing exactly that when I get to that place, really, I'm going to meet a guy who is willing and able to finance this sort of transaction that we're going to have. So
but
it's
now
really
we always
intentional.
end up with stories where men wake up in the morning and they don't have Mavuso, or they don't have enough Mavuso. Then the lady starts crying rape. In fact, I've had stories, can't really confirm one legitimately, of guys who end up in prison for that.
And that is so true, Nyaks. And even other reasons or other things, beyond just them crying rape. Because, Nyaks, there are so many dangers. I'll touch maybe on one or two as I expand. Look, you taking this lady and then she agrees to come with you. It's all good, and you're not suspecting any malicious or any ulterior motive from the lady, because it's a night. You are seen with the lady. You are providing the entertainment there, food, alcohol, and all that. And then you go home with her, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, okay, how was your night? And you enjoyed the night? She says, yeah, but over and above that, I would enjoy at least a rand of you. She will mention maybe the amount to say, for the night that you spent. I mean, who do you think I am? What do you think? I just give my body out for free and stuff. And then you start thinking, no, but we didn't discuss that. But she will say, no, but what did you think? Which lady is out there just giving out her body for free and stuff? So please compensate me and stuff. And then when you start arguing, saying that no, but we didn't talk about this. This wasn't the plan and all that. And then she cries rape because she knows very well that the law is on her side if she cries rape. And if you are not going to be able to prove otherwise, then look, you are going to join a lot of our brothers who are behind bars right now. And that is true. That is happened to a lot of people. Other dangers of this is, yes, we know the high rate of HIV infections in the country. Obviously, sometimes things happen. You meet a stranger, you don't know this person, you don't know their behavior, you don't know where they've been in the past and how often they do what they're doing. But it's just an easy transaction for you to get a lady. I mean, it must also signal to you the fact that there might be something here. This is how this person lives. This is how they make their money. And the dangers also can be, other than disease and all that, Nyaks. There's a story that I read, which I thought I'd relate, to really, really emphasize that there are really some more dangers than just rape. One gentleman took a lady home after they had agreed. They were at a very nice place. They had agreed to go home, and when they got to when they got to the guy's place, they ate. The guy bought alcohol. Obviously, there was some extra, food they ate and all that. And after that, they sort of rested after their first, I'll say their first round. Let's put it as it is. And then the lady started complaining about having a headache, and the guy gave her tablets, and then rested for a while, hoping that they're going to continue, with the work for the night. And then all of a sudden, the lady started really screaming, I'm not well. And then foam came out of her mouth and all that. And the guy screamed and went to call the mother. When they came back, the lady was dead. I mean, imagine, Yaks, you are with a stranger in your house, a lady that you just met on the night. You don't even know her name. You don't even know where she comes from. You didn't ask if she had any problems, maybe sickness, illness, or dietary requirements. Maybe whatever they ate might have led to that. And so anything can happen, when we
There's
engage
also
in
the
such
story
things. So
of
those are some.
the Zulu prince who uh, went home with the ladies, and then the ladies might have poisoned him. I think there was drugs involved as well, and he wound up dead. Remember the story?
I remember the story very much so as well. Hence, I said to you that dangers are so many, Dax, because you also don't know the motives. There are ladies who work as a syndicate. They work with guys, and this is a very planned thing. That this is what we're going to do, and they also rob people. I mean, obviously, you take her home, and then you don't know what she's got. She can spike your drink, and then when you fall asleep, the guys can come in, and that has happened to a lot of people. It has also happened, I think you might have heard that, to Eric Mieni, and the actor. It has also happened to him as well, where he met ladies and brought them into his house. I read that story, so much interest, and it was a long thing where these ladies were caught now with using his bank cards, credit cards at different bottle stores after spiking his drinks. And then he went to report that at one of the police stations. It was a long thing. And I don't know how the story ended though, but just an indication that sometimes there are more dangers, to
The
that.
ladies are
Because
also
you're
in
doing
danger
this.
as well. I think with the high amount of GBV in the country, we also
Yeah,
have to mention that
yeah,
some ladies, in fact, and wound up dead because they
yeah.
went out home with the wrong guy.
True that, Nyaks. Because also, like I said, I mean, the men are predators, and some of them are out there to, like people are sick out here in the heads. Some people just enjoy inflicting pain on other people, particularly the opposite gender. So you could get a guy who is generally a serial killer who's just out there, but uses this opportunity because he knows that ladies will congregate at a certain place on a certain night, and he will go there, and he knows how to lure them using money, as an accessory for him to take them home. And then who knows? I mean, he might not really take them home. He can take him to any spot where he does whatever he does, kill the lady, and we'll never hear of that lady again. So there are so many dangers to to Mavuso. I'm not saying Mavuso as the concept of Stokvel, but the Mavuso thing, getting someone at a social gathering somewhere where you decide, no, I'm going to have fun with this lady at night. Anything can happen, and it can be both
Can
ways.
it be done right, though? Can Mavuso be done right?
Yes, I don't know, man. I don't want to, I try avoiding, sounding always politically correct and always trying to say, yes, this is how it should be done, as if we don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes at some point in our lives. Yes, it can be done right. And if I were to say how it could be done right, I might also be sounding like I'm perpetrating something that is currently happening. There's also
no, but
this
you and I have
concept
done
of
it. You and I have done it, and we've survived it. You know what I hear? A lot of these stories, and I'm thinking, when I think about the number of women I've brought into my own space, the older I grow, I'm like, damn, so much could have gone wrong.
That was dangerous, Nyaks. But and you learn from that to say, hey, you know what? I don't think I want to be there. Like same here. When I think about it, it's just that back then I think, Nyaks, I would say, in my space when I used to, sort of date here and there, as a young guy still trying to find myself, I was lucky because I think the women that you would date, I mean, it wasn't really about them waking up with money. You would see that they are really genuinely with you because they like, they really think Nyaks is a great guy, or Sefofane is a great guy. It's nice being with this guy. They would come, spend time at your place and then leave, and you would do things together, like it's like a relationship type of thing. So I think there's another concept of blessers that I'm seeing now. I think it's Mavuso. No matter how we call it, it is also Mavuso. But guys have gone on now to make it even more, I think, attractive, where a guy will have a special place that they rent out, and this lady that they like will stay there, and they will sponsor, the lifestyle of that lady. But then that is in return for exclusivity. The way they will, the lady dresses. I mean, the guy will show up with the lady at some places and stuff. And most of the time, you find that these guys are in relationships or even married. But it makes it easier for them to say, at least I have this specific person, this one person whose life I'm sponsoring, but I'm also getting sexual favors in return. So it's just one person. Maybe that way it makes it a bit safer because you're dealing with one person and you have this agreement in place that you're going to benefit from this way. But Mavuso, the one that we know, where you just pick up a stranger tonight and then you wake up tomorrow morning, anything can go wrong. With that one, you've got an agreement, and it's if something happens and she cries out something, maybe you might have something to say no, but this was our agreement.
But maybe the Hammanskraal way is the way. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the Hammanskraal way is the way, because one, it's in a safe environment. Everybody sort of kind of knows everybody, and they saw you leave. Like, okay, so that's number one. Number two, they announce that Mavuso wants to be 600. So I'm sitting there, no, 600 so no, fine, the girl can come. If the girl can come tomorrow morning and say, no, now you want a 5-star. We're like, 5-star, I don't know, it's 600. I think that one that's organized, it's better. It's like little loopholes. Well, stuff can still go wrong, but you're not going to find somebody who says, I want 5-star.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true, Nyaks. Depending on your arrangement, how you discuss it. Like you said, if there's an arrangement, an announcement that is made that this is what we are doing and this is the amount we are giving out tonight, and parties are all willing, and you live with someone knowing very well what is going to happen. At least you've got, your story is covered. Everybody knows. Everybody is aware. You will say, hey, I'm involved in this. This is what we do. It's part of what we do. But now the lady is crying something else. Hence, that was not the agreement. So I have people as much as it's not right, you're not saying it's right. You're defending yourself just because if the lady feels violated and she cries rape and all that, there has to be some investigations, of course. But at least if you have, someone to actually vouch for you to say, but this is
also
the
it
agreement.
Protects her as well. Because if I take her home and then I don't give her that $600, she can always go to like the Stokvel owner and say, "Your member, did not pay, and then I get disciplined in however way I get disciplined. I mean, I think it's fair that way.
Yeah, I think it is. It is very fair, Nyaks, and we're not condoning that kind of a behavior, but it's something that has been
But
happening.
it
Like I
happens.
said,
It happens. It's part of reality. We're not gonna. I mean, we're not regulating
reality.
society. The other thing I wanted
Yeah.
to maybe bring out there is that men pay twice because I pay the night before for drinks. Okay, I go home. That's the payment. But in the morning, I'm paying. How's that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said, Nyaks. I said it has always been like that for decades, for centuries. That as a man, you are the one. I mean, I wish someday, tables could turn. We could have a place where you and I go, Nyaks, and we know there are ladies that are willing to take us home and say, tomorrow I'm going to just and it happens. I think it happens. There are cases like that, but there are only a handful where you get
older ladies.
Older ladies. Yes, because now they are not getting, what they are
and they have money, like 60-year-olds. I mean, it's a fetish.
Yeah. You and I are not, we're not going, I think we
are
should
not
make
in the target market. We are the ones. We have entered now the sugar daddy phase. What do you, the blesser phase? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very unfair, Nyaks, to be quite honest. I always say that. Né? But also what I'm saying is it depends. I mean, what is it that you want from the night when you go out? Yes, you pay twice. But are you paying twice for just for nothing? You're paying twice for companionship at that time with that person, and obviously sexual satisfaction. And she might feel like, no, but imagine me just coming to this place with you and doing this and just going home with nothing, and then what happens then after that? So at least if I can have something from that, benefit something, it might not have to be
then say it straight for I'm a hooker.
That's the thing, sometimes, we try and sugarcoat things, we say, no, it's different from prostitution and stuff. Prostitution is prostitution. How it's done, sometimes there are times where I even say to guys, guys, prostitution can happen in different ways. It is prostitution when you regularly meet a lady, but every time after, engaging with that lady, you have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you are paying for the same thing that you could pay for if you could go straight to a place where there are ladies summit or for Royal or wherever. I've heard of these places where guys go and they just pay, so there's a fixed amount, you go there and you know very well there's a lady who's ready. You just pay, and if you pay, you take her to a room, and then you do what you do. You come back, you're satisfied, you've paid. Whether you've paid 200 rands or you've paid 300 rands, it doesn't matter. That's the amount that was charged. But in cases where now, Nyaks, you and I, on a weekly basis, when we go out, we meet people that pretend to be interested in us for the night, and then we sponsor the drinks at that bar or at that club. It's all nice. They benefit. Sometimes we don't even take them home because a lady can still have your drinks, and it's not your right to say, just because I bought you drinks, it's guaranteed that I must take home. You see,
so hence I say,
it has happened.
It to the best of us. And then she goes in there, so then you can't even go and fetch them like, or she just disappears.
You know what I'm saying? Or she just disappears. And you can't say, no, ungopile. I mean, can you really go and say ungopile? Because you can't do that. And there's no agreement in place. No, you know what I'm saying? So it's a bit dicey, man, Nyaks, the situation of Mavuso. But yeah, like I said, it's something that is happening in our country. I think it's happening in other countries. They just have different ways of doing it, or maybe what they call it, depending on their setup. But with us, I mean, our social setup is such that, it's sometimes it's there. I mean, we can see it happen on a weekly basis. I mean, it's Saturday tonight. You don't know if you go out tonight. I don't know who
it's happening somewhere, man. Let's wrap this up, man. We've got a poster for you, man. We'll put it on stage. Yeah, man. Mr. Sefofane Leluka, the people's MC. give us the social media plugs, man, and then we'll put up a poster in here. People who want to get in touch with you and do business.
All right, thank you so much, Nyaks. I'm on Facebook, handle very simple, Aeroplane Sefofane Eri, that is Aery, surname Leluka, spelled Leluka. On Instagram, Sefofane Leluka. Twitter, S for sugar or S for Sefofane, at S for Sefofane, and Leluka. We can, get together and be great friends. And if you want to book me for an emceeing event, I'm available on 08353 77884, and email me at Sefofane Leluka at gmail.com. And then, yeah, let's get engaging. And thank you so much, Nyaks, to our, I interact with a lot of people, even on our other social media platforms, even on WhatsApp. When we promote our show on the contributors, the chatterbox, a lot of people that are very interested in, and I'm getting a lot of feedback. And because we did ask for feedback, even last year, so I had a lot of people. I'm just gonna, single out one person that made a call and said, "Hey, man, thank you so much for those topics. You're actually opening our eyes with Nyaks, and we are able to draw conclusions, from what you guys are talking about. And the nice thing is, you guys are so open to criticism as well. Where we don't agree with you, you guys will never come back and say there about this unless you are able to convince us otherwise." But regarding last week's topic, the doing business with black people and black business people hating on one another, someone said, as black people, we need to wake up and realize that no one is going to do it for us. We need to do it for ourselves. And that is a great friend.
Yeah, names, mention names. Who are these
Schoolman.
people?
Lurk is one of the gentlemen that, Lurk, and we also have Lihlonolo Musebi, who's commented, immensely on that. We even had a phone call, Lihlonolo Musebi. People are really loving these, discussions that we are having on the chatterbox, and look forward to the next one. Yes.
Great stuff. Let's wrap it up, man. My name is Nyaka Lolipoto. This is the Chatterbox alongside Sefofane Leluka. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you are the first one to know when the next episode comes out. Adios.
Adios, Jax.